Hermione, whatever should I do? There's criticisms about Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, man, I just don't know. Criticizing the Japanese to English translation and the fact that you can only use three characters at a time. Seems kind of like an awkward thing to yap about, doesn't it? But isn't that what most people complain about anime to begin with? It makes me question what the problem with it was. The Japanese, they handle things differently. That's just as of 1997.
Okay, folks, Acid Roots here. So we've got part 24 of Final Fantasy VII. So just in case you're watching this episode through headphones, I'm going to let you know something that kind of was a mishap. So, also we're going to name this character Azul, like that's Spanish for blue. But, so when I was recording this, I didn't know, because my Dazzle is not in plain sight, I didn't realize that one of the speakers, I guess the red or yellow cord for the left ear was not plugged in. That means if you're listening to this through headphones, you can only hear the game sound through the right ear. So it's kind of annoying, but I don't feel like re-recording this gameplay, and plus I saved over where I was going to, so there's no way of getting that back. But I did plug it in for the next couple, but I guess episodes 24 and 25 are going to be like that. And I guess that 23 also was. I didn't catch it, but I guess it was. So it's only for two more, this episode and the next one. But if you're not listening to it through headphones, it shouldn't really be that. If you're watching it on like a PlayStation or an Xbox or a Nintendo or something, you should not be able to tell. But I guess the cat likes to jump up where my television is. Something unplugged it. I don't know how it happened, but I was kind of wondering. I guess that might have been like that for longer than I thought, because I noticed that Street Fighter kind of did that also. But just idiotic. So if you're listening to it, if you're a headphones individual, that's a slight mishap for you, but it's been corrected now. So yeah, we've got our new character, Azul, or Red 13. And he basically has a lot of magic abilities, and if you don't have the all magic, he's one of the characters that will have it automatically. And if I had earlier, in one of the earlier episodes when I was crawling through the vents and stuff, there was a specific room that you could go to get the all magic ability, which I could have used. I mean, definitely, it'd make these battles a lot more triumphant and quicker. I'm gonna have to get that magic ability at some point. I just don't know when I'm going to. I don't know if you have to get it through like a treasure chest. So we'll see. So obviously I'm poisoned right now, and it's not really the best incarnation to say that, but I don't feel like using all my antidotes, because I really don't buy those that much, because there's only how many enemies that will poison you, and especially if the boss characters don't, which I guess this is a boss that does, but for the most part you can just heal and be okay, because the battle effects don't carry over like some RPGs do. So, but I'm not going to bother taking out his cronies, because they'll just come back. I actually tried taking out one, but it proved my point. I mean, I remember watching this from earlier. But yep, so as of right now, this is my longest LP on Acid Roots, 24 episodes and counting. It's probably going to get into the 3 digits. You just have to pay attention to that. It's kind of like hell. I mean, so I'm trying to figure out like the way that Red 13 is going to be used throughout the playthrough, because he's intelligent. It's kind of strange, just because you would think that he was kind of more like the Gao character from Final Fantasy VI, who kind of was a human that was raised in the jungle and stuff, but he seems to be the opposite of that. Kind of yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of where that came from. I can see Red 13 kind of having like a deep voice and something like that. But it's kind of like Transformers or something. But I think, and I would actually have to say that we're not done getting party members. I know of at least one more, but I think there might be like 1 or 2 more party members after that. Right now we have 5, but it could get to 7, possibly 8. Because for a 3-disc game, that's relatively short. I mean, obviously Cloud's quite the flirt, having 3 women that he's flirting with, because I don't know if he flirts with Yuffie also, but... Oh, I just spoiled it for you, but I suppose it's not too much of a deal, but you'll see. But yeah, so I have to choose as to how I want these party members to interact and such. And I'm just not gonna use Eris right now. But I mean, I am gonna want to use Eris later. You're gonna have to split up a few more times. So get used to being decisive, because you're gonna have to always pick party. It's just like the criticism said at the beginning of this video, that little skit. You will have to decide 3 people at all times. I think for the most part, Cloud always has to be in the party. So what that virtually means is you're gonna have to know what characters to use. I try to keep at least 1 long range and at least 1 person that can heal. There's always going to be a female who's in the party, and then I like to keep Barrett in one of the parties also, just because he uses long range, and it's his physical attack with his cannon arm thing. So then Red 13 has all the magic, so he's normally not in the same party as Barrett. That is kind of how that goes, but yeah, just recommendations for those who still haven't played this game either up to this point. I'm definitely going to equip this guy. I recommend anytime you switch party, just make sure you have magic equipped, because there's some long range enemies you're going to have to fight later. Kind of a pain in the ass. They do that, and you realize that you only have... When I did my practice file, I only had 1 character who could attack at that point. That really pissed me off, because normally a 4 or 5 minute battle wound up being like 25 or 30 minutes. I know you guys don't want to sit through all that, so I mean, I have commentary, but not that long. So it's kind of the thing. After this, I have to get Street Fighter done. So this is kind of one of those remarks, is just trying to get that figured out. And then, of course, I have to do more Super Metroid. We'll see. Definitely gonna snag some of these potions. Talk to this asshole. He's up on the upper floor. I only did what Hojo told me to do. So there are random battles, like I was saying before. You're still going to be able to get in fights, but the point being is to ascend, because now you can just go home. That's the specified thought. Yeah, I watched the news again. Same stuff, you know. Around these parts, we've got Hurricane Sally to deal with, and then also, like, the fires that are getting worse. I don't know. Like, you'd think that we would have some sort of device that could clean up the air, like some sort of giant fan that could just blow the smoke somewhere else. It said on the news that, like, it was even in New York. I mean, that's how the smoke went all the way from Oregon and Washington and those sorts of states to New York, which is completely on the east coast of the country. So it's idiotic. I mean, science. When we say we stand with science, I don't just like coming up with defense mechanisms. There also have to be offense mechanisms that work. It's just like with the hurricanes, they've developed like floodgates and shit like that to kind of focus on, but it's just kind of, you'd almost think, okay, let's invent some sort of air filter. I mean, I have an air filter in my bedroom right now that sucks out all the bad air, and it's like, develop one of those. So, I mean, if this is, that's the thing, this is like 27 times worse than it was in 2019, these fires. So I would invent like a supersized like air filter just to say, okay, you will be able to breathe, maybe not in an hour, but maybe 10 hours or something. You know, it's $1 billion idea. I could be like a crony to like Elon Musk or something just from thinking that up. For any future viewer that sees this video and comes up with that idea, I'm just like, hey, I mean, I'm not a scientist and I don't have a license to patent something, but it's like, for all these fires, let's just invent a giant air filter. So, yeah, so we have to get to like a lower floor, but I would talk to these characters, but there's random battles and I didn't really want to deal with it, so. But I'm trying to think if there's like something else to do. You'll see. This is a relatively brief episode now that I think about it. I mean, it's still less than 15 minutes, but I'm just kind of sailing through this game. I mean, we're still, as of yet, in the Shinra headquarters, but these next few episodes are going to change. And the scenery, I mean, as far as I am in like the files that I'm watching to know what to do, I mean, I'm probably like 15 or so % further than what we're at now, but we're just about done with Disc 1, I'd have to say. It's been a lot of shit that's been going on. The Avalanche segments and all the other stuff, the Eris dates and everything you've seen up to this point. You know, I mean, I'm kind of taking my time, but I'm kind of not. Ambushed. So we almost made it back home. Alright, get ready for some shit to happen. Are we gonna fight all these assholes? Can Cloud? Are Cloud and Barrett and Tifa strong enough to knock out the whole Shinra force? Because we just got ransacked here. President Shinra. So, got some shit going on here. The plan starts to be revealed, but we're going to have to break through mid-conversation, so just stay tuned for these. I mean, obviously I know I should probably do these with quickness, but, you know, I'm just kind of curious as to how many folks are going to consistently watch these. Because that's the thing, I mean, even when I've tried to watch RPGs, I don't really think I can just watch like 15 or 20 of them, especially if they're more than 15 minutes. So I mean, that's essentially a portion of the day. I mean, you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner in bed, just watching a damn game or on the couch or whatever. This is kind of the situation. I mean, even back when I watched Let's Plays like a lot, I still couldn't watch like 8 or 9 or 10 of them all at once. It just depends. I mean, as far as like paying attention and having your headphones in and actively like listening to every word that they say, it just is like, hey, you know, it kind of gets exhausting. But I just kind of am curious for future viewers who are going to see these videos as far as what they would like to do. Alright, subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful night. Stay tuned.